Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is a bit of a different video today. As you can tell from the title, I've decided to share my story of anorexia. Basically I just wanted to let people know how I got here and my struggles throughout the whole of my journey, and I just think sharing the whole journey would just kind of allow others to relate to it a bit, and then also just put people kind of in the know of like about me really. As you can see from the title, I've had anorexia, been struggling with it for 10 years, and well, that's kind of been a mixture of being in the bad depths of it until now, where I've been kind of in the good side of it, so I'm like in recovery now. But I'm nowhere near out of it. Like, I've still got such a long way to go. There's still a lot of things I need to think about, kind of clear up in my head and try and get rid of like some really bad habits. But I know that it's going to take loads and loads of time to get rid of all of that. But I guess I should just start from the beginning really. Well, basically as a little girl, I used to eat like loads of food. I was known as like the little eater in my family. I grew up on a farm, and like my dad was a big eater, and we always had to have like big meals, like meat, veg, like carbs, everything, like potatoes, everything. And so we always had really big meals, and I used to eat everything on my plate. I didn't care. I just ate till I was full, and maybe a bit too much sometimes. But like I wasn't overweight. I was a really healthy child. I did like all the sports. I did sport every single day. I loved it. Football was like my life. So yeah, I was just a really, really strong little girl, really. And I went to a primary school, and there was only about 6 or 7 of us in my year. And I felt, because I was quite muscly, I was a little bit bigger than all the other girls. So I kind of felt a little bit uncomfortable as I got a little bit older. Like my main fear is my legs, and I got really obsessed with how big my legs were compared to these other girls, but it never really affected the way I ate. It was just kind of on my mind. And then when I was in about, I can't remember how old it was, I was quite young, but some reason I found out about calories in food, and I don't know how I found them out. I just did. I must have picked up on the TV, or must have heard someone talking about it, and basically I started looking at food labels and how many calories are in things. And at first it was fine. I just look at it and go, oh, that's got quite a lot on it. Maybe I shouldn't eat as much today. But it didn't, I didn't really follow it. I kind of just ate much anyway, so it didn't really get to me. But as I went to secondary school, it kind of got a bit more obsessive, and I started counting my calories, about how many I could have in a day. And there was actually a point where me and my twin sister, we kind of tried to diet, thinking it was kind of cool, and I kind of got a book and I wrote down everything I had in a day, and I would calculate all the calories and everything. And like it wasn't like I was trying to restrict. I wasn't restricting, because I still have like adequate calories. I just kind of watched everything that I ate. And then when I was 13, I lost my dad. He was very ill, and yeah, I won't go into that, but yeah, I lost my dad, and that really, really affected me. The way I grieved was through my eating disorder, through anorexia, and I just let it control me really, really bad. And that's when my anorexia really, really started. I don't really know where to start really. Basically, when I was 14, I got hospitalised in Taunton. Really against my will. I did not want to go in. The first time I went to the doctors was with my mum, because I had something wrong with my toe or something. And then she said to the doctor, oh, she's got eating problems, just right at the end of our appointment. And I was like, what are you doing, mum? Why are you telling them that? Like, blah, 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 blah. But then nothing was done about that. But then when I was 14, I got put into hospital for 2 weeks, and then I got assigned under CAMS, which is like an eating disorder service for like children under 16. And this is my personal opinion, and I don't want anyone to think like they should feel the same way, but this is how my experience. CAMS for me were, well, I'm going to put it straight, they were awful. They didn't help me at all. I actually got told off by them, but because when I got discharged from Taunton, so I was in there for 2.5 weeks, I was kept in a room and made to sit on my bed for 2.5 weeks, made to eat all my meals, and if I didn't really want it, I'd have to have like these milkshake things, and I was like, no, I'll just finish all my meals. So I just did what they said, and then I got through it, but I was still anorexic when I came out of there, the same headset. I still wanted to lose weight. I didn't care. And so I was under CAMS, and I was at home, so I wasn't allowed in school. And basically CAMS would come around my house every single week. They would weigh me, and if I'd lost weight, that's the one time when they actually shouted at me because I lost weight. And if I put on weight, they just wouldn't say anything. So like, I got told off when I lost weight, but they didn't congratulate me when I put on weight. So what I did was, I'm going to be totally honest with you, when I was with CAMS, I used to drink tons and tons of water before they used to come and see me. And like 3 to 4 litres of water, just so then I'd be able to make the weigh in and make it look like I'd put on weight. So I've actually never told anyone that before, but I've just thought that I need to let it out. I need to tell people, because otherwise you're not accepting your eating disorder otherwise, and you're just lying to yourself. So yeah, basically I did that. So I actually got away from them by drinking the water and making a fake weight, basically. So that's how I got rid of them. So I wasn't better, I was lying, basically. And then when I got to because basically the whole of year 10 I was off school because I wasn't well enough. But then year 11 I managed to get back into school, and obviously I wasn't the right weight, but they didn't know that. And I was 100% attendance. I loved year 11, did all my GCSEs and everything. And then I went to college, and things changed a bit actually. I did get a little bit healthier actually, and I kind of got my head in the right place, because when I was at college I absolutely loved it. Like, I loved all my subjects, I loved my teachers, and college was just really good for me. I just felt like, because I lived near, I could walk down, and I just really enjoyed it. It was hard, don't get me wrong, it was really hard, but yeah, I did love it. But my eating disorder was obviously still there, because I've had, God knows, by then there was like 4 or 5 years of it, so it hadn't gone. And then when the spark of it again was when I went to university. So obviously when you go to uni you move away from home, and I moved to Bristol, and I was put in this huge building with, obviously you get put flatmates, but I didn't really get on with my flatmates. Well, it's not that we didn't get on, but we just didn't actually ever see each other, talk to each other. They were all from around the world, so like everyone kind of just stayed with their own people. So basically I was on my own because I didn't know any other people at uni at all. I met this other girl who was like my best friend, and her flat was amazing. And if I lived with them, I would have a totally different experience. But yeah, basically in my flat, I was basically left in my room doing an extremely hard law degree, and it just took me over. My eating disorder got awful. Like, I was living on 400 calories a day. I was losing like pounds like daily, and I was just wearing away. It was like I was literally falling down a black hole. What I used to do just to, I don't know, just to make my anorexia happy, I would walk miles, I would have cold showers, I wouldn't sit down. I wasn't living. I was like a zombie, an alien, just not a human being. I had no personality. I couldn't even walk to my lectures. I couldn't walk upstairs, and like my BMI, I got to a BMI below 10, and I just didn't care. And then one time my mum came to visit me, and she was just like in shock. And then so I went home for one weekend, and we had a friend round who is an older lady, and she's my sister's godmother, and she's had eating disorder problems as well. And she saw me, and she just literally just she couldn't believe it, because she knew exactly what I was going through, because she's been through it. And she came up to my bedroom because I was actually packing to go back to uni. I don't know how I was packing. I was just kind of chucking stuff in a suitcase, really. And she said to me, "You need to get help. You need to go to hospital because you're going to die." And when she first said it, I was like, oh, no, because you try and block everything out. When you have anorexia, you don't listen to anyone. You're really selfish, and you just listen to that anorexic voice in your head. And then she went, basically, I agreed. So that day we drove to Yeovil Hospital, and to be honest, I wasn't really all there. I just didn't really know what I was doing, and I basically went to the hospital and I put myself in, and what I thought I was going to be there for about 2 weeks, like I was in Taunton when I was younger, and it turned out I was in Yeovil for 5 weeks on bed rest. I was in a ward, and then I was watched 24/7. I was on a wheelchair. I couldn't move from my bed, and it was horrible. And then I became neutropenic, and that's basically where your immune system breaks down. And I got put into a room on my own, and people had to come in with aprons and gloves, and it was literally like I wasn't a human. It was awful. And then, like, don't get me wrong, some of the nurses in there were so lovely to me, like, because I was watched 24/7. I made some really good relationships with some nurses, but there was also this other lady who was really horrible, so that just totally made the experience worse. But so I was in there for 5 weeks, and I was actually still trying to study, because I was trying to, like, I kept saying to them, no, I'm still going to do my degree, I'm still going to go back, I am going to go back. And yes, and I was in there for 5 weeks, and then I thought I was going to go home, and then a psychiatrist came to see me, and basically he said to me, if you have to come to my eating disorder clinic in Exeter, and if you don't follow what we say, we're basically going to section you. And if I got sectioned, I wouldn't be able to become a lawyer, I wouldn't be able to do the career that I wanted to do at the time, and being sectioned is basically a criminal record, so I just did what they said. So yeah, basically after Yeovil, I had to go to Exeter to an eating disorder clinic, which was 10 times worse than Yeovil. I was put on bed rest again. I was put in a wheelchair. I wasn't even allowed to shower. I wasn't allowed to sit with any other people. I was watched 24/7 again, and I was put in this tiny little room. It had bars on my windows. I had to eat every single mouthful of food, and I'm not kidding, what we had to eat there. Like, it was lovely food, but it was a lot of food. And I was in there for the first day, and it was breakfast time, and we had like cereal and toast and whatever. And basically I began to eat my cereal with a teaspoon, and I actually got told off for having my cereal with a teaspoon. And I was like, what? And they said, you're not allowed to do that, that's an anorexia habit. And I said, I've always, my whole life, eaten cereal with a teaspoon. But no, you're not allowed to do that in an eating disorder clinic, you have to eat with a tablespoon. So, okay, I did what they said. So if I didn't, another note would be written next to my name, a bad black mark. Sorry, I'm not making a joke of it, I'm just literally telling you the truth and what eating disorder clinics are like. Like, they say they try and help you, and yes, the nurses are, some of them are really nice, like I said about Yeovil, some of them are really nice, but then the whole concept, it didn't help me personally, it actually made me worse. And so I was in there for 3 weeks, which actually was really short, because they usually do, the shortest treatments that they have people in are 2 months. So I actually managed to get out very, very quickly. I was the lowest BMI patient they've actually ever let out, but the reason being is because I did everything they said. I ate every mouthful of food that they gave me. I didn't have any weird, strange habits. They know that I'm not, with me, I'm not like, I am mentally there, like, although I was at such a low weight, I managed to get, like, me back quite early at a low weight, whereas other people, when they're at that low weight, they can't function. But, like, I kept saying to them, everyone is different, like, you shouldn't follow, just, like, that's the one thing they did. You had to be healthy, you had to be a BMI 20. And I said, what I tried to argue was that everyone is different. A BMI of 20 is not healthy for everyone. Someone could be healthy at a BMI 23. Someone could be healthy at a BMI 16. like even lower. It depends, everyone is different, and we shouldn't treat everyone the same just by a spreadsheet. And that's one thing that I really, if I do ever go get big in, like, want to make a career, I want to like speak this message out and tell, if there's any clinics, like doctors watching this, that you shouldn't follow guidelines like that. You need to treat patients individually, because everyone is different, and I've proved that. So anyway, when I was discharged from Exeter, like things were good. I was obviously amazingly happy from coming out of hospital. But I kind of, obviously I still had anorexia really strong in my head. And then I went back to uni for my second year. And then because I found my course so hard, and I absolutely hated my course. It was nowhere like my college law. Like, I loved law at college, but law at uni was awful. And basically where I couldn't, sorry, I keep saying basically, I'll try not to start saying that now. Where law at uni was so difficult, and I couldn't control law. I couldn't control it. It was just so hard. And so basically I let my eating disorder grow, because I could control that. I could control my eating disorder. I could control my eating. So that grew again, and I lost all the weight again and more. I got really, really bad again. I couldn't go to work. They actually signed me off work. They wouldn't let me come in because I got so unhealthy. University actually refused for me to come back for my third year. They wouldn't let me in, and I had to fight my case to get back in. Luckily I did get to go back, and that year was actually the change for me. That's the year where I found about fitness and nutrition and strength training, which I do now, which is all my videos are about now. And the reason I found that was, well, the first person I actually found was a girl called Lauren Tickner. She was like my main motivation, because at one point she was really, really into fitness. She's changed a little bit now. She's a bit more into business, but fitness is still a massive part of her life. But I saw her on YouTube and Instagram, and I thought, wow, like what she's come from. And also I saw Kendall, she's called Fierce to Fit. She had anorexia and she's recovered, and she was another inspiration. Hayley Irwin as well, Paige Riley, the Girl Gains with Zana, Vicky and Tally, just all bloggers like that. Like, they have made me want to do this journey. They've made me get healthier again. And so yeah, basically I started the gym, and I got a personal trainer, and I went through a couple of personal trainers, and I think you have to find the one who's right for you. And obviously now I've found Adam, who is literally the best personal trainer I've ever had, and I see him every week, and he knows me now. He knows how to personalize, like tailor my training program for me. And then so I was with him, training with him, and then, well, before I had Adam, I found Vicky Mirceta, who is my nutritionist and life coach, everything. She has had anorexia as well, and she actually trained. Now she trained to be a bodybuilder. She's competed, and she's just a major inspiration to me. And I reached out to her. I emailed her, and she actually got back to me, and she said she would love to like help me. And I've been with her for over about a year now, and she has changed my life. My life towards anorexia, my just whole life. I've met her as well. She came over to me I posted a video, and I just don't know what I'd be right now without her. I ask her anything. Like, if I have any stupid anorexic thought, I text her and she puts me straight. She tells me the truth, puts it black and white. So if I've got any worries, I'll just message her and she gets straight back to me. So yeah, I think I've just kind of whizzed over that, and it might seem really muddled up and jambled. But so basically what now is, I'm with Adam, I'm with Vicky, and together they help me loads, like I can't even explain. So my anorexia is slowly going. I'm not gonna lie, it's still there. It's still really, really there. And I don't think that anyone can actually fully recover from anorexia. but obviously some people may disagree with me, but that's just my personal opinion. I think once you have that thought, you can't just get rid of it from your head. I mean, it's in your head, but I believe that you can shut a door on it. I believe that when you have that choice, you can either choose to go anorexia's route or your real head route, like you. And now the real Hannah is getting stronger, and she is starting to overtake that anorexic voice in her head. And it feels amazing. It feels like I'm getting myself again, like that little girl who didn't have a worry in the world, who was like go out in the fields and just love life. And like I said in my last video, I'm now actually moving out. I'm training to be a personal trainer, doing what I love, just trying to live that life that I missed out on all those 10 years. Like my whole teenage life was ruined by anorexia. And if anyone is going through it now, I'm not kidding you. I know it's so scary to try and get better. I know it is. And when you're in the depths of it, you just can't see a way out. But you just need to find your way. Like my way was fitness and nutrition. Someone else's way might be different, but you really, really need to try and find your way. You just can't let it overtake you, because at the end of the day, you'll die. I was 2 months away from from dying, and I didn't even know. Until a doctor said that to me, I wouldn't have even known. I would have kept going, and I would have died. I would have died at uni, and what would that have done to my mum? And that's another person, my mum. That's literally the main reason I'm doing this. She's been there from the worst parts of this journey to these parts now. She's like unbelievable, and I have no words to say to her, just to thank her. I just can't even put them into words. I wouldn't be here today without her. And you need to, if you are suffering, see if you get your family care about you. They don't want to see you suffer. You need to voice out that you're struggling, and just let it out to people, because otherwise, like I said, it will take over you and it will kill you. And it's not a life to live, and I don't want to live that life. I'm never going back. I'm going to keep moving on, and I'm going to get myself back to the real Hannah, and I'm going to strive, and I'm going to do what I love. I'm going to do my personal training course, and who knows where it's going to take me, but there's no stopping me, and I'm happy, and I'm going to keep going. And yeah, so that's basically my story. Sorry if it's all confusing, but I don't know how else to voice it. It's been a long time, and trying to remember every little detail is so hard, and trying to get the times right is really difficult. But it's been a journey. It's been a real journey, and there's no way I'll ever forget it, but there's no way I'll ever go back.